about 30 when I started singing, but I found that even for pretty much the first time I went on the stage, I remember going on the stage and singing and then coming off the stage, and as I came off the stage I'd managed to make half the audience cry. You know, it was my first ever concert, and there was only about 60 people there. It was very small, you know, in the basement. But you know, like I could see the audience were weeping and, you know, like really overcome with emotion. And I was singing these songs. So I came off the stage, and I remember thinking, I can make a living from this. I can make money. You know, this is great. So I thought, okay, so that's it. So it's my job, you know, it's my profession, you know. It's like some people are good at I don't know, you know, taking photographs or whatever they're good at, and I'm good at I seem to have an ability to emotionally connect with people when I'm on the stage, you know. It's kind of a way I can be successful, and it's a way I can kind of communicate with people. It's a way I can be invited to play to, you know, hundreds of people, and they pay for my flights and rent the hotel, you know, and then I have all these people buying my CDs and again giving me money and loving me, and so it's kind of great, you know.
This dangerous man.
It sort of evolved, I think. From I started to do theatre, and I never wore makeup before. I started to do theatre, but when I started to do theatre, the very first theatre show I did, I was a woman. I was a green woman, and I had 3 breasts, and it was a great shame because it was a pity because. I had these 3 breasts. I had this lovely dress, sort of green net curtain dress, and I had these lovely breasts here, and of course I play the accordion, so they made me this wonderful costume with these 3 breasts, but you couldn't see them because my accordion was in front of them. So anyway, I had a green face for that, and so it started with that show, which was called Fungus the Bogeyman. And then the next theatre show I did was called Shock-Headed Peter, and that was became a big success around the world, and we toured it all over the world. We played it. We did tours of America, you know, the United States, and all Far East and everything. We played that, and again, they wanted me to wear makeup for it, and then at the same time. I also started to do another show, which was called the Tiger Lillies Circus, which was a show we did with circus artists. And so I thought, well, this would be good. You know, I'm doing a circus show now, so I might as well be a clown. You know, so I started wearing the makeup for this show as well, putting all this clown makeup on. And then I just kind of got into the habit, you know. I'd turn up at the venue and I'd put makeup on, and so it just became a habit, and I've done it ever since. And this summer, the very first time, in front of it was a friend of mine's 80th birthday, so I actually did a show. It was just in his gallery. He's a gallerist. He sells paintings. And I actually did a show without makeup on, and I sang. A small audience. It was only like, I don't know, like 60 or 70 people, but I sang in front of them without makeup, and it felt really, really strange. I felt naked. It was a bit like doing a show with no clothes on, you know. It's a habit, really. I just turn up at the venue, put my makeup on, go on the stage. So whatever I do. Whatever show I do now, I always wear makeup.
Stay away from him!
They give me quite a lot of background information, or they even tell me kind of what to write the songs about. Sometimes they're a bit more vague, you know. This is the producer, director, or whatever, and so and then I just write I just write the words. Sometimes, for example, with Shock-Headed Peter, they were based on children. It's a children's book, Shock-Headed Peter, German children's book. So with that one, they were already written. The verses were already written. So sometimes I change things fairly small, and sometimes, obviously with Hamlet, this show, it's Shakespeare. So I didn't really think about sort of adapting Shakespeare. I thought it would be a bit weird, really. So I just wrote, apparently I'm a bit like the Greek chorus in this show, and I'm sort of commenting on the sort of making comments on the people. So yeah, so sometimes but basically I take what's going on. We're doing a new show now, Edgar Allan Poe, and with that one, what am I doing with that one? With that one, because Edgar Allan Poe was obviously was a writer, and he wrote poems. Sometimes I take his poems and pretty much sing them straight, but then I also I've written some poems, and so it's a mixture of his poems and some of my poems, and then I usually have the lyrics already written. I write them. Actually, I write everything on my iPhone, and usually when I'm sitting on a plane travelling or something, and then I work very quickly, and then I sit, and then I go home to my studio, and then I sit there at the piano or play the guitar, and I write songs. On here, I could go to my notes. Go to my notes app, and I've got Hamlet on here, and it's like, and not only have I got Hamlet on here, but I've got all the other bits that we never actually used, and then I've got the same. I've got the Poe, so in my notes, I've got all the shows, and I just sit there in the aeroplane or in the airport, and I just, people think I'm playing some kind of video game, but I'm actually writing lyrics. That's what I tend to do. So I just write my words on there. Yeah. I guess I was inspired by Bertolt Brecht, Kurt Weill, the Threepenny Opera. That was a big inspiration. Berlin theatre, sort of Berlin theatre, expressionist theatre, or whatever. And then I was also inspired by people like Jacques Brel, a French or Belgian actually, Belgian singer-songwriter who was very, very emotional and sang all these songs about kind of the bourgeois and quite left. All tend to be quite left wing, sort of things. So sort of actually a bit more caring about people and about poor people, singing about people from the streets. So that's prostitutes, drug dealers, Because I was quite inspired by these people who actually were involved in theatre, I kind of started to attract a few kind of theatre people, started to come and see me play. And in fact, it was really theatre people that, that were always my biggest fans, really, So I've kind of ended up spending a lot of time doing theatre shows, even though I never really intended to do that. I mean, I intended to become a rock star. Well, not a rock star, but become a star, a singing star, But you have to kind of go where the money is, really. You have to go where people want. It's like maybe some people try to pretend that they're above that, but I'm pretty sure they aren't really. I think everybody's like that. Really, I mean, we all have to eat. Because of the inspiration of Brecht and Brel and I don't know, Piaf and things like this, I've ended up being much more theatre people have been, and so I've ended up, people have invited me to perform in theatre a lot, and so this is where I've kind of ended up, not that I intended to.
King is dead, long live the king.
My next show is going to be about Mexico, so I'm starting to, and it's going to be about Mexican, kind of about the drug, you know, all the drugs and stuff, and the corrida, you know, the corridos, the songs. So you know, you have these, you have all these Mexican bands playing, and they sing about the drug baron and the drug. And so my next song, my next theatre show is going to be about that. It's going to be about drug barons and stuff. I hope I don't end up getting killed by a Mexican gangster or something.